Alright guys, Scrappy again today. I hope you're doing well and enjoying all take so far. Major updates to Black Ops 7 last night, including huge changes to the map pool we were expecting in the CDL next season, more additional throwback maps with potentially more to come on the way as well. But it's not just about the maps last night, it's also about the weapons. The Maddox, the Black Ops 4 fan favourite, is coming back in the new title in Black Ops 7. Dashy, who dominated that year with that weapon, is talking all about it, and as a result there has been some discussion as to whether the other CDL teams are going to try to GA it already. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. We're going to start here. Toronto have officially rebranded. This I think has been coming for some time, but they didn't do it when they announced their team, so there was some speculation whether they were going to do it at all, but they have. So Toronto Ultra is gone, and it's now Toronto Koi. I know that it was coming, of course they competed for Koi at the World Cup. It's part of the same brands. They've kept the purple, which I guess isn't like awful. And I don't know, the branding's not great. I actually think the jersey's kind of nice, I'm not going to lie. But it is a bit of a shame. I think Ultra was a great brand. It's been around since the inception of the CDL. And yeah, they want to combine things over there at Koi, as it now is, right? And it's not the best branding, I don't think, of all time, but it is what it is. They're officially rebranding. I guess I'll just call them Toronto. At least they've still got the purple thing going on. We don't know if they're going to run an event there this year. We were kind of hoping that they were. At least I was hoping that they were. Wanted to go back to Toronto to the Matinee. But maybe not, that's going to be the case any longer. Rumour has it they might be a Dallas event in the end of January instead, so we'll see what time says on that one. But anyway, they've confirmed it now. We know their new roster. That's been the case for some time, and they've now officially rebranded to Toronto Koi. So Ultra is gone. That means that every single brand in the CDL has now changed to at least some degree. I know that Surge are basically the same. They're Vancouver Surge. They used to be Seattle Surge. But everything else is gone. It's FaZe Vegas, of course Huntsman are long gone, that spot has now been sold to Boston Breach, Dallas Empire became OpTic Texas, Florida Mutineers is Miami Heretics, Ravens is still Ravens for now, but it's Carolina. Gentlemates is coming in for LAG fully. It's G2 Minnesota with kind of the same logo, but Rokkr is gone. Subliners are gone. It's Cloud9. OGLA is now Los Angeles Thieves. Of course, it's ReeaL Falcons a long way away from Paris Legion, and now Toronto is the final one to bite the dust as well. So it doesn't send a great picture for franchising and certainly not geolocation in esports when within 5 years, pretty much, of the CDL's inception, every single brand is effectively dead, or at least has changed. And I think given another few years, we aren't going to be doing this city-based stuff anymore. I wouldn't imagine, but we'll see what time says. Now, let's talk BO7 changes, because there's a lot going on here last night. Again, they've done it. What is it with these bald guys at Traixx? Matt Scronce, he sits down, he talks a bit about the maps. This was not an expected one. I don't think we were expecting them to bring back Standoff, but they are. So this is Standoff from Black Ops 2, if you guys played that game back in the day. I hope you did. And then Black Ops Cold War, it also came back for that game as well. There was a couple of famous moments on this map, especially it came up for Search and Destroy in Black Ops Cold War. I loved this map for all the game modes back in Black Ops 2. In Black Ops Cold War, I could see why it was probably only played for Search. And look, we've got wall bouncing now. Standoff is a relatively small map in the grand scheme of things. Like, you can get places relatively quickly. I think with the wall bouncing, it might just play kind of as it did in Cold War, a bit too fast for Hardpoint or something, but it was a very viable Hardpoint map back in the day. So there's something to be said maybe about that as well. But look, with Raid and Standoff available as options, potentially for even something like Overload or whatever the third game mode's going to be, that could be kind of interesting. But the fact that Raid and Standoff, the best BO2 maps, are back in Black Ops 7 is a great sign for whatever the map pool's going to be. I think we're in for a good year. Even if you don't think the game's that good, it's certainly going to be a good game to watch, because the wall bouncing is going to be exciting, and we are going to have a good map pool. There's no way we can't. With these maps in the game, there's no way we won't have at least a good map pool. There's more on the way as well. Some of the maps that Traixx have made for this game seem pretty good. We saw some of them in the beta. Maybe not spectacular, but good enough, I think, in addition to loads of the throwback maps. I know that some people don't really like too many throwbacks because we've kind of seen it before, but I'm not complaining if we get a good map pool, and I'm a big fan of Standoff. That's one piece. Of course, the other thing is Meltdown. This was the map that we kind of knew was coming, but still, it looks pretty spectacular from this angle. And this map's coming to Black Ops 7 as well. Now this, if you guys aren't aware, Black Ops 2 map again. This was just played in Search and Destroy. It was actually the map on which the final ever map of the World Championship that year was decided. But yes, a Meltdown is back as well, and this is the full Black Ops 7 launch Season 1 handbook, as it were, for all the things that are coming into the game. And there's a lot going on here. So these are all the launch maps. We know all the launch maps on the left-hand side, including, of course, Express, Hijacked, Raids, some of the other throwbacks you guys can see visible on the left-hand side there. There's also an update to Toshin that I want to mention for you guys in a second. Then we have the Season 1 maps. So, there's a few others that we've not looked at or heard of yet. We've got Fate, we've got Utopia, we've got Odysseus, we've got Yake, and then we've got Standoff and Meltdown. So, we've got some throwback maps. Of course, Nuketown 2025 and all that is coming back as well. And then we've got some additional maps arriving as well in due course. That's not the only thing when it comes to maps as well. So as Simp says, damn, can't believe it. They might actually be cooking here on the 14th of November, 18 multiplayer maps effectively. There's got to be something in there that's going to be good to play. Ghosts of Hope also reveals, and look, I don't want to get my hopes up too much for a Stronghold remaster, but I will glaze Traixx if they do it. Ghosts of Hope says there'll be a few BO1, BO3, BO4 maps, maybe even a Cold War remastered too. So every season they're obviously going to bring something back. Probably every season they're going to at least have some sort of throwback maps as the game goes on. First season it's going to be Standoff Meltdown. Presumably as the seasons go on, there's going to be multiple more maps coming back at some point as well. So look, what could they bring back from Black Ops 1? Maybe a WMD, maybe a Havana or something like that, I don't know. Black Ops 3, I don't want to get into it. There's only a couple of maps there that probably would be viable even with the wall bouncing. As I've said, Stronghold with a small variation could very much be done. I even think Fringe, to be fair, they did bring it back in Black Ops 6, probably would have been better suited to come back in this game. Then BO4, right? And what are we talking? Could it be, because Arsenal has not come back yet, we had Hacienda come back. Could it be Arsenal? Could it be Frequency? Other options maybe in there as well. Cold War remaster, what would that look like? I mean, probably people are going to say Moscow, right? Maybe Checkmate, but kind of doubtful. Not many other too great maps in Cold War to bring back, but maybe Apocalypse or something is maybe an option in there as well. Now, speaking of the maps, I thought this was great to see, because I mentioned at the time, when we talk about beta maps to the real game, there is occasionally options to switch things up. They're probably not going to fundamentally change the map design, but what they may do is open up new pathways. It's actually what they did for Seaside from the Black Ops 4 beta to the real game. Now, Parasite did this tweet on the 7th of October to say, look, Toshin would be much better if there was a way to access the top train station. What you should do is open up the train that's slammed into the side of the wall. Otherwise, the map's a floodfest and it doesn't really work and the flow doesn't go to plan. So Matt Squant says, look, a little sneak peeky quote tweets this and shows that, yeah, there now is this alternate way to get up into the top of the building. So I think it's just great to see Traixx actually making these fundamental adjustments, because usually you think, well, the beta's basically going to be the same as the real game, and it is to a large extent, but they've clearly made some fundamental changes and they're looking for ways to actually improve the maps as well. So that's what they've cooked up there. I thought that was great to see. But probably the main talking point of yesterday was around the Maddox coming back to COD. So if you guys watched Black Ops 4 competitive, you'll know that the Maddox was effectively the meta weapon. There were 3 meta guns in that game. I mean, arguably 4, maybe 5, if you consider the sniper and the pistol, who are also rather good. But it was a 3-gun meta. The ICR was the main AR, people used double grip and it was a complete laser beam. The SORG was the SMG, which got better when they made it hit scan towards the end of the season. But the main weapon, I mean, people kind of called it the flex gun, but really it was kind of the do-it-all gun, was the Maddox, right? It was a fast shooting AR. It had a bit of recoil, you could control it. People would do like the crack aiming and everything to make sure they got the most aim assists. But it was a really fun weapon. Great gun to use. And during Season 1, the Maddox will be back. They're bringing back the crossbow and the ballistic knife as well. Hopefully they can bring back some sort of, I don't know, sticks and stones wager matches like back in the day. I do miss playing Sharpshooter and One in the Chamber and those other gun game, of course, as well, from back in the day. But yeah, JP says at Dashy, and Dashy's like, peep what I posted, and then we go onto his page and he's put this one out there, right? So kind of similar in some way to that tweet that he did. You guys remember? I mean, it's not quite the same, but it's kind of similar at the end of 2020 season when he subbed in for the World Championship, and he kind of said, "See you guys in Cold War." Kind of a similar vibe to this one here with the Stephen A. Smith. So look, the Maddox is back. Dashy was known for having some insane highlights with the Maddox back in the day. Like, that was his gun, right? If you go back and look for Dashy highlights in that game, you will find Maddox clips left, right, center pretty much. This clip is, you know, I don't want to say it's like an overrated clip because it is a crazy clip. Dashy got a 5-piece. He did kill everyone in a single bullet. So I don't think it like truly exemplifies the skill that Dashy had, but it is probably the most notable highlight of the year regardless, apart from maybe some of the other template plays that Dashy was doing as well. But still, right, this is the Maddox if you guys aren't familiar with the weapon, and Dashy was, I mean, look, other guys were good with it as well, but everyone kind of knew, and people have even considered for the last few years that, damn, like, Maddox Dashy was different gravy, right? So the idea of it being back is pretty interesting. Tej, of course, who was on that OpTic team at the time, says, damn, why did Damon want to run grapple? Bro was the best with this, says Dashy. So, you know, they, of course, were talking about the way that that team was structured that year because Crimsix wasn't very happy that he wasn't getting much help on the AR. There were a few problems that that team ran into that season. Let's just put it lightly. Even Xnid, right, for the Falcons, he drops the heart eyes emoji saying, damn, the Maddox is back. So there's lots of excitement here from numerous pro players that the Maddox is going to be back in the game. The question is it going to be used? Because DLC weapons, typically, the pros just ban them. Now, this is the big talking point of the other day. Hex has been talking about, like, if you don't use the snipers, we're going to GA your salaries. That's going to be difficult to do, and it's tough to imagine exactly how the CDL could step in here, right? Because, as we are aware, it's kind of difficult to stop the pros not using something. You can force them to play a map, obviously, you can force it in the pool. It's difficult to force them to use a weapon, even if it's viable, because they'll just say that it's not, even if it is. The meta will be decided at the start of the game. It's probably going to be an M15 Drazah looking meta based on what happened in the beta. We know that DLC guns usually just get avoided, but maybe there's a world where the Maddox, because, you know, high fire rate could be a great candidate in that role. I'm sure that Dashy and OpTic will want it in there, but I can already see the other CDL teams being like, oh, well, it's a DLC gun. We never use the DLC guns. We're not even going to trial it. And when Dashy does pull out and scream, oh, the Maddox is so overpowered, we've got to get it removed immediately, right? So I can see it coming a mile away that although there's some excitement about the Maddox being back, again, the key talking point about this is, and even I'll share this clip from Scump right at the end of the video, is that, damn, look who we've got on our team. We've got the big Brucey, right? Like, he was the guy with that gun. But also, and look, who knows if it's going to play exactly the same way. Other guys are going to be good with the gun as well, obviously. But the point, I think, is that every other team knows that Dashy's pretty good with that gun. So if we could just GA it and 9 of the 12 teams agree to just ban it, then that's probably what they're going to look to do, which is very cheese. But would I be surprised? Not at all. So intrigued to your thoughts as always in the comment section on this stuff. Just one final thing. We put this together. Build your ideal best of 5 series for $150. So if you wanted to go all the way through the middle with 30s, then you've had this. But there's a couple of other options here, right? Like, I mean, there's a couple of options that are worth considering. Frequency hardpoint I might go for a $40 one. Search and Destroy, I think Samurai was pretty good. I actually think Aftermath Search and Destroy for $10 is not bad. That was a one from BO2, of course. Actually, one of the other maps I thought they could have been bringing back here when Matt Scront says they were bringing back a Search and Destroy elite map. It was probably always going to be Meltdown. But anyway, you guys are feel free to build the rest. But hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.
7 new weapons coming out. I got to give a big shout out to one of my favorite assault rifles, the Maddox, coming back from...
Okay. The Maddox coming back. And guess who we have on our team? We have a big Brucey. Oh, come on.
Black Ops 4.
I wonder if they're going to use DLC guns, though.
Coming, like the cross